your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
What a little tattletale he is.
It's Friday. What up? I'm so glad I don't believe in heaven or hell, because I wouldn't be seeing heaven. And here's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm setting up Instagram because, you know, we got to tell them to come on. What up, everybody in the chat? I love you. Thank you for being here. Y'all early. Y'all on time. VIC said I'm early. I love it. Chantel, what up? India, what up? Katie, Maxine, Mo, Ike, how you doing? People, my regulars, my folks who hold me down. We got shit to talk about tonight. Understand me? Oh, they try to kill us. They're trying to silence us. We're not going to be silent. Y'all remember we started this a year ago. Some of y'all were here a year ago. And we're still here. I promised y'all that I would be here till the boat sinks, till the wheels fall off, or till the administration launches an attack on me while I'm on a boat in the ocean minding my goddamn business. I'm going to be here until it is. Okay? Thank you, Katie, for reminding people to hit that like button on the way in. Those like buttons, you guys have to understand, when you hit the like button, it sends a signal to YouTube that we're here, and they will promote us and put us out there. So other people who have not been with us for the last year can come and join. And just real quick, before I get into everything that we're going to get into, was having an exchange with a sister online. Like, we're really talking about Black media and independent media and how crucial this is. And I'm, you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, I got to start figuring something else out outside of YouTube before they end up caving. Because I don't know if y'all saw that letter that Congress or congressional member or whatever sends to all the white tech bros telling them that you need to report people who talk bad about Charlie Kirk. Y'all, we are in the 8th dimension of complete fucking nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this makes sense. Like, we are all being trolled. Like, this is a huge troll, and I need everyone to understand this. I'm a troll, so I can recognize a troll. I just posted the other day, I said, I made my son's first costume a signifying monkey. Okay, I'm a troll, but they are trolling us, right? And so, whatever. Put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time watching me. And if you notice me looking to the side, it's because I'm looking at Instagram. I have them on my other screen. It makes it a little bit easier for this. All right, y'all, let's get into it. I don't even have a long story today. I got nothing but quick hits because there's so much shit going on that it's just like, yo, let's try to get through as much as we can. And this is why I'm doing this, you know, twice a week, every week, and sometimes in between, because there's so much stuff that keeps coming on. But y'all got to support independent media. Y'all got to support the people that are like myself. And I'm going to say this shit. It's not hubris. It's not anything. You got to support people like myself that are willing to put themselves on the line. Because at any day, I could lose one of these teaching jobs or anything like that. And y'all got to be able to support me because I still got to pay my mortgage. So I'm just saying, everybody, a free way to support is to hit the like button, is to subscribe to my channel, is to get people, you know, on this side, is to show up. Show me some love. I love seeing y'all in the audience. I love seeing y'all be here. So I appreciate you so much. Oh, I got somebody in Instagram. It's their first time. Well, welcome. Maxine said it's been a long week, 10 days. Listen to me. By Wednesday, I was like, well, goddamn, is it Christmas yet? Let's just skip Halloween and Thanksgiving. I don't even celebrate Christmas, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, y'all, let's get into it. All right. So I don't know if you heard, but Donald Trump is attacking the H-1B visas, okay? This is important because hold on, let me share this with you so you get a visual at least. No, I'm not. I just want y'all to know I have a docket. I have all this stuff prepared. I just want y'all to know I'm not making shit up. All right. I'm really not. Okay. So Trump has this idea that he's gonna charge $100,000 fee per H-1B visa. And they said in a likely blow to tech, which is really interesting that this comes at the same time that they're sending this letter to tech bros telling them that they need to report us. They need to censor us. They need to monitor us. First of all, I just want to remind everybody, because I know, what the fuck are these ads? Oh, you know what? This is why I don't be sharing shit. Because why? Why are we here? Right? Listen, I'm never going to get monetized. I cuss too much. It's all right. It's all right. So here's what's interesting. I want you all to remember they sued Joe Biden because he wanted to impose a limitation on what could be spread, the so-called misinformation about the COVID vaccine and COVID and stuff like that. They wanted to get at him, and I think they won. Somebody fact check me, bro. But I believe that they won, saying that he was wrong to try to censor social media folks, like, platforms, Meta, TikTok, stuff like that. They said, you can't do that. We got free speech. We can do what we want. They sued the president because they said he overreached on the free speech. And now here they are talking about tech bros, you need to censor people. This is like, okay, so anybody who, like I said, if you have more than 4 operating brain cells, you're probably wanting to lose your mind. Like, you're losing your mind and you want to jump off a bridge or drive into a brick wall at 155 miles an hour, because that's how I feel every day. Okay? And there's so many things that we can look at that they were saying while Biden was president, while Obama was president, right? That they're like, no, we can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. And so what I'm loving that's happening is more of the conservatives are piping up like, wait a minute. And so the H-1B visa fine is going to make them do that. I want you all to understand. For those of you who don't know what the H-1B visa is, it is a work visa that allows you to come and work in this country. And the reason why this is a big deal for the tech companies is because they hire folks from other countries that are far smarter than American citizens, okay? So I'm putting these together. I'm connecting the dots for you. Donald Trump's America First platform means that he wants Americans to be hired. Again, okay, let me just pause and just, Donald Trump don't give a damn about none of this. So let's just put that out there. We're all operating with the understanding that Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about any of this, okay? But let's pretend that he does for the sake of argument. He wants Americans to get jobs. That's why he wants Americans first, right? So that's why he wants to get rid of all the immigrants, which this is part of. So this serves actually like 2 purposes. This is to stop immigrants from coming here, because if you have to pay $100,000, Elon Musk can afford it. Elon Musk can hire 10 people, spend $1 million. That's literally a penny for him. That's not a problem. Mark Zuckerberg could do the same. Bill Gates could do the same. But smaller companies or smaller folks may not be able to do that because they don't have the capital for that, right? So they're looking for places, correct, Tiffany, India, China, Japanese, South Koreans, they're all advanced, right? They're engineers and they're smart. These are the computer science gurus. We know this, and that's fine. I have no problem acknowledging other people. That's not my field, so I don't give a damn. The United States does also have tech gurus. Now, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, there's nobody in the United States that's good enough for this. Of course they are, So it's interesting that he wants to put this tax on it, this fee, because he knows he can get it from someone like Elon. He knows that he can get it from someone like Mark Zuckerberg. So it's like threefold. This is an easy way to generate money, right? Revenue. I think I told y'all that a few months ago, like the United States is broke, right? I was talking about it in 2017, 16 and 17. The United States is broke. And I told you all several months ago that the reason that Trump part of the reason that Trump is in office is because he is so odious and so hateful, they can make him a scapegoat for them doing the things that they absolutely need to do. And because a lot of people do not pay attention when a Democratic president is there, they were doing the same things. Biden was doing the same things. Obama was doing the same things. They just were not public about it. They weren't being assholes and jerks when they were talking about it, but they were also quietly cutting a lot of things because the United States cannot afford this. Trump also said that he wants to raise the Social Security age limit. Folks, this is not about punishing old people. The United States don't have the money to pay for people to retire and get their Social Security benefits at 65. They can't afford it. Okay, so remember, just gonna throw that back. That's why part of why Trump is in office is because they want us to hate him and have him say it. And it's fine. He's gonna die soon. They don't care. But this is absolutely what needs to happen. The United States don't have no money. When we talk about the treasury bonds and the things and stuff like that, backed by people that we are now making adversaries, China, Japan, etc., because Trump doesn't understand how our bonds work and how they own our debt. He doesn't understand that. The average American doesn't understand that either. This is way beyond what most Americans can actually comprehend. But let's try to keep it simple right now. The H-1B visa allows people to come and work. This is a blow to tech. If you go to Silicon Valley, who's working there? Go to our top universities. Who's there, right? The big slap in the face for Asian folks linking up with white supremacists to try to shut down affirmative action is that they are about 7 or 8% of the population. I believe they're 7% of the population now. I think when you're thinking East Asian, South Asian, things like that. But in most of these schools, they're 25, 30% of the population. I'm sorry, I don't give a damn who you are. I love you, but that is significant overrepresentation, right? And I'm actually one of them people, I'm fine if the representation in these places looked like what the United States looked like, right? You want to do 13% Black, 14% Latino, 7% Asian, fine, whatever. I'm cool with that. That's actually, the numbers would work. But the fact that you go to some of these schools and 30% of the population is Asian is because of this. And their argument, which was actually a legitimate one, is that if you were actually going by merit, we'd probably be 50% of the population because y'all dumb. I get it. But also equity, diversity, all of that stuff. Yes. So anyway, so my commentary on this is that he's putting the cart before the horse. Yes, we understand that you want Americans to have these jobs. You want U.S. citizens to have these jobs. But you cannot expect U.S. citizens to have these high-level, high-intellectual processing jobs when you have been systematically dumbing down United States citizens for the last 30 years. Okay, those of us who were fortunate enough to get primary school education before No Child Left Behind took effect, we understand the difference. And then those of us who are old enough and gave birth to Gen X also understands why a high school diploma from somebody born in the 1940s and 1950s could get you a job that can get you a house and take care of families. And some of us, the niggas was taking care of 2 families, okay? My grandfather included, maintained 2 different fucking families, going to the factory, the record pressing, vinyl pressing factory, okay? So you could do that. But now you need like a master's degree to get $10 an hour. It's ridiculous, right? And so that's kind of where we are with it. And so he understands that. They understand that, but he's trying to force it. And when I say that they're putting the cart before the horse, what I'm saying is that you don't have the workers yet. So why get rid of them? So there's a gap, right? They don't know how they're going to fill that gap because we have students dropping out of their first semester of freshman year right now, students who are part of the largest graduating class in the history of this country because their roommates don't want to sit with them at lunch anymore, because they can't make any friends, because they can't find their classrooms. They want to come home and drop out of school. That's supposed to be the tech geniuses of the future? Absolutely not. So there's nothing in there to cushion that. He's not thinking. But it's a way to preserve white male supremacy because he also believes that more white men could have those jobs if they didn't get rid, if they could get rid of the immigrants. But see, here's the thing. a lot of those pipeline programs that have existed to train young people to be coders and tech folks or whatever, they got rid of them, citing DEI. They're discriminatory. Black girls code, going to Appalachia and getting them to learn how to code. Those pipeline programs that they all got rid of, they said it was DEI. So now how are you going to cultivate those folks when they can't read? They can't read. You ask them, what is 10 times 10? They're like, my generation, we just memorized that. 9 times 9 is 81. 7 times 6 is 42. 8 times 7 is 56. You're just supposed to know these things. You shouldn't have to think about these things. It's rote memory, whatever. Anyway, where's that? So that was one. That's interesting. Oh, so they decided to make Charlie Kirk Day, I believe October 14th. Let me see. That's been a, oh shit. I put the wrong thing on there. Sorry, y'all. So they're trying, oh my God, why is this not working? Okay. I got too many windows open, y'all. I love you. So anyway, Charlie Kirk Day is October 14th. That is also the same day that George Floyd was born. So I definitely think that there should be some kind of protest happening or some demonstrations happening that day. I'm not organizing it. White folks, if y'all got anything that you want to do, you want to go organize something, I don't know, No King's Day, I don't know, whatever the hell y'all was doing with your paper clips and your ribbons and shit, go do something. Something should happen, right? But I don't think that it should be protesting Charlie Kirk. I think it should be a demonstration remembering George Floyd, right? It's 5 years ago. It's a pretty big day. So, but anyway, I just want to go back. On May 25th, 2020, well, no, this is what to call it. That's because that's when George died. So people were like, well, what did, Charlie Kirk say? Because somebody said, oh, he called him a scumbag, and everybody was getting upset. Well, no, here's what actually happened. This is what Charlie Kirk said about George Floyd. He was given a talk or whatever. He said, on May 25th, 2020, up in Minneapolis, a cell phone video changed the trajectory of our entire nation in this state. The reason why our tour is called the CRT, or Critical Racism Tour, is because of George Floyd's death and the misinterpretation of that. And I'm not going to go on an endless soapbox defending Derek Chauvin. I think he's kind of not a great person, but I'm also going to offer some context and some nuance about the death of George Floyd so that no one dares to say out loud, which is that this guy was a scumbag. Now, does that mean that he deserves to die? That's two totally different things. Of course not. And the reason I wanted to read that to y'all is because I just want to show you the kind of person that Charlie Kirk was. Charlie Kirk was a troll. There's absolutely no reason for him to say any of that, right? You understand that there was absolutely no reason for Charlie Kirk to call George Floyd a scumbag. He chose to do that for the provocation. He's a troll. He was a troll. Nigga ain't here no more. But he was a troll. And he's sitting there recognizing, he would often say, well, I'm going to say the thing that no one else is going to say. That was a big deal for him, right? I'm going to be the truth teller. That's why people like calling him a truth teller. Please understand that this cult situation that it seems to be kind of, developing is because the same reason these people love Trump, as odious and loathsome as he is because he says the things that they really think, but they're too afraid to say out loud. They can't say it around their coworkers because they might get fired. They can't say it around their partner's family because they might get whatever, ostracized. They can't say it online because they might get canceled, all these things. But deep down, not even that deep, they harbor these feelings. And this is the way they think. And so when someone comes along and says this thing that they wish they could say, they celebrate that. I feel seen, right? Again, this happens on the left side too. This happens in progressive spaces too. I know, because I constantly have people telling me that I'm saying the things that they wish they could say. Well, you can say them. Get some goddamn cojones. You can say them so that way people like me are not on our lonely islands being the targets all the time. You know, if 1 out of 20 people is saying it, well, who you think is going to be the target? If 19 out of 20 people are saying it, they don't know who to go after. So we need you to have some gumption here, right? You grow a spine, a proverbial spine. I'm not trying to be ableist, okay? But the point is that they love him because he dared say and verbalize the things that they really felt. I don't think he believed half the shit that he said, y'all, and I'm going to take that with me to the grave. I know a troll when I see him. That's how I feel about Candace. That's why I've said to y'all, like in the recent lives I've said, the two of them, they were in a long-term con. And now that Candace sees that shit can get you shot, she's like, yeah, wasn't sure it's gonna go this way. They're conning people. It's a grift. Same thing. Charlie Kirk to me is no different than Sean King. Real talk. Sean King dumb as hell. Sean King has stolen tens of $millions of dollars from people, pimping this race shit. He's a fucking white man pretending to be half black. Said his mama got raped by a black guy to make up a story to try to pretend that he's black. People still give that motherfucker money. He's a grifter. Okay? Charlie Kirk was a grifter. Candace Owens is a grifter. Okay? So he didn't have to say that. But they made it for October 14th, right? Let's see. Charlie Kirk died on September 10th. Let's see. Oh, his birthday's also October 14th. Oh, well, will you look at that? Isn't that ironic? Charlie Kirk was born in 1993. George Floyd was born 20 years before that on the same day. It's a generation. Okay? Oh, Dr. Umar is full of shit. Ask Dr. Umar about his weave, because that is a hairpiece, everybody. All right, anyway. So the big thing has been, if you saw the intro, if you were here, the big thing has been Tamara said, did you see, why are you on Instagram, Tamara? You know we're over on YouTube. Come over here. But anyway, you said, did you see the video of the baby saying, I am CK? No, I did not. The hell is wrong with you people? I am CK? I mean, don't fall for this stuff, y'all. And the reason why I have to say that is because it is very easy to fall for this stuff, right? Propaganda, media propaganda is what it is. I teach media stuff. This is what I think a lot about. Media and propaganda. The way that they depict people is the way we come to think about them, right? And so all of this is propaganda. If they keep inundating you with this, right? Part of why my son is one of Michael Jackson's biggest fans is because I started letting my son really watch TV at the same time that Michael Jackson died. And so we were inundated with Michael Jackson, right? Because that's how the machine works. And so all my son's first exposure to television was Michael Jackson. And so now the dude's a musician, right? So, I mean, literally, that's how it works. Okay? That's how it works. So the big story is obviously Jimmy Kimmel being fired. Jimmy Kimmel, man show, wore blackface. Again, a person I do not like. I did not like his show. I also did not think he was funny. Me and Charlie Kirk agreed on something. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Jimmy Kimmel was fired because of government pressure to fire him. And a while back, a couple months ago, Trump was like, Jimmy Kimmel needs to be fired. Trump doesn't like anybody speaking negatively about him. So he basically was calling for Jimmy Kimmel to be fired. So we know that this has been in the works. There's a lot of mergers. I'm not even going to go into this too much because it's like you could just look it up. There's a lot of, and I think we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, there's a lot of media mergers that are happening right now that it's basically there's going to be some really big monopolies and there's some wealthy white men in power and they can basically do whatever they want to do. And so they are the ones that are like, get rid of Jimmy and Jimmy didn't even really say nothing about, he didn't really say nothing bad. It's more about Trump doesn't like the fact that Jimmy basically plays in his face every single day. Like, I don't know when's the last time a day went by that Jimmy Kimmel didn't punk Trump in some way, shape, or form, right? So he didn't like that. I grew up in New York City. I grew up with Donald Trump being clowned all the time. He absolutely hated it. New Yorkers tried to warn everybody and be like, y'all may have heard about him tangentially, but y'all, this is a dude that we don't want to be president. His ego is out of this world, right? So Jimmy Kimmel gets fired. And so now we're starting to think about what free speech means in a nation that is descending into fascism, right? And that's what the tricky part is. The same people who said that, matter of fact, let me pull this up for you because I got it. Hold on one second. Let me show you, because this is, it's ridiculous. They're playing in our faces. Oh, I don't know what just happened there. This 2-screen thing, I'm not the best with this. Anyway, so look, Brendan Carr, February 14, 2019. Should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of public interest. What does he say the other day when Jimmy Kimmel gets fired? I want to thank Nexstar for doing the right thing. Local broadcasters have an obligation to serve the public interest. While this may be an unprecedented decision, it's unprecedented, you dumb fuck. It is important for broadcasters to push back on Disney programming that they determine falls short of community values. Okay. He said, I hope that other broadcasters follow Nexstar's lead. I kind of want you all to sit with this for like 2 seconds. Actually, let's sit with it for about 20 minutes. It is important for broadcasters to push back on Disney programming that they determine falls short of community values. Do you understand? Y'all got to feel me on what I'm about to say. Nope. Put my tinfoil hat on. Feel me on what I'm about to say, y'all. Jimmy Kimmel is a pawn. Jimmy Kimmel is a scapegoat. This ain't got shit to do with Jimmy Kimmel. They don't care about Trump's feelings. Trump can be upset at people making fun of him. They make fun of him. They don't care about his feelings. But just as Charlie Kirk is also being used as a pawn, and he was a pawn, y'all know, I firmly, the last couple of days have just solidified for me that man was taken out to serve a much larger purpose, okay? Jimmy Kimmel being fired sets the stage for them to come in and decide that anything that falls short of community values. All they have been talking about are values lately. Now let's go back to 2019. Donald Trump was president. He's protecting the speech. They were all against this idea of curbing hate speech, curbing misinformation, curbing all these things that people were starting to realize around this time were really getting out of control. But that's the good question, is whose community, right? And that's what I need you all to start thinking about this stuff. Think about the first thought that comes to your head, then push it out. Think about the second thought that comes to your head, sit with it for a little bit, then push it out. It's the third thought that comes to your head that is probably the truth. The truth is, they can go and say, Black Panther falls short of community values. Okay? Anything with Riri Williams falls short of community values. Miles Morales, we are anti-miscegenation. Miles Morales is the product of a Black and indigenous Latina woman, right? We're against miscegenation. Miles Morales falls short of community values. Okay? That's how they set that up. Oh, can't play what's your man? I'm blanking right now. The pansexual one. Deadpool. Can't show Deadpool. Deadpool is pansexual. Deadpool has sex with men. That falls short of community values. Can't have it. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? Like, let's think here. Let's be smart. Let's be smart. Okay. Yes, the black, the long walk. Yeah, that's a good one. Ursula, Black Little Mermaid. You saw how they lost their minds over the Black Little Mermaid. So if the community comes together and says that this does not represent our white values, then he's already set the tone and the precedent to say, you have the right to get rid of these things, y'all. Jimmy is he's just a player. And the reason why it's easy for him is because the president don't like it. But let's go back, because we talked about free speech. Samuel Alito. Those of you that live in the United States, I swear to God, you got to know who Samuel Alito is. You got to be able to name the Supreme Court justices. There's only 9 of them. You got to know. I know back in the day, we used to have them memorized, but you got to know who that is. This is what he said. In 2017, in the majority ruling of Mattel versus Tom, he said, the government has an interest in preventing speech expressing ideas that offend. And as we have explained, that idea strikes at the heart of the First Amendment. Speech that demeans on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, religion, age, disability, or any other similar ground is hateful. But the proudest boast of our free speech jurisprudence is that we protect the freedom to express the thought that we hate. Let's go back one more time and read that last line. The proudest boast of our free speech jurisprudence is that we protect the freedom to express the thought that we hate. You can hate that someone made a joke about Charlie Kirk being popped in the neck. You can hate that someone is talking bad about your dear leader because you had to suffer through a humiliation ritual and now he owns the inner layers of your asshole. You can be mad all you want. You could be offended that I call you a dirty ass hunky who does not wash their body properly. You can be upset. But I have the right to say those things because that is protected under the First Amendment of the United States. And so here's one of the things that kind of gets to me sometimes. And I know this is where I diverge from, some of my fellow Negroids, is that so much of what African Americans put their energy behind in a lot of ways is generally meaningless, right? This whole voting thing, get the fuck out of here. None of these votes count for anything. I've been saying this for you all since the beginning. It's all performative nonsense. Voting keeps us from descending into chaos and anarchy. People have to have buy-in. That's what voting is. Voting gets you to have buy-in. You believe that you're taking part, because once you get to the place where you feel like it doesn't matter, then you descend into anarchy and chaos. Go look that up. It's somebody else. I didn't come up with that theory. It already came up with it again. I forgot who said it. But anyway, Black people focus on dumb shit. I want us to, sorry, and I shouldn't say that across the board. But I want us to focus on, first of all, memorizing the First Amendment of the Constitution and understanding that there's 4 parts to it. I want us to understand the Second Amendment to the Constitution, to understand what that means to us. We have the right to defend, form a militia and defend ourselves against a terrorist state. That is the United States. The United States has always been a terrorist state against Black people. We have the right to shoot them, to fight. We need to be concerned about those things. 14th Amendment due process. That is one of the most important amendments for African Americans. And yet we just sit here and focus on generational wealth and Black capitalism. And I'm going to go to Martha's Vineyard. And I'm going to go to Oak Bluffs and wear this Ralph Lauren. And I went to this HBC. Nobody don't give a shit about none of that stuff. It doesn't matter in the end. It really doesn't. Your PhD from Walden University doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you understand that now that we have citizenship rights on paper, I understand that they are not enforced. I understand that the police are charged with doing everything that they can to make sure that we never fully live out our rights as American citizens. But you got to push that. And sometimes you guys will see me say something that there's nothing that Black people love more than whiteness, because it's the truth. But at some point, we have to divest of whiteness. We have to divest of white supremacy. We have to stop thinking the white man's ice is colder. We have to stop trying to do what it is that he does. He has been showing us for the last 160 years that he does not believe that we are entitled to any type of freedom whatsoever. Freedom is not given, it is taken. You all think that that Emancipation Proclamation meant anything? It did not. I don't care when they found out in Galveston, Texas. I'm going to be 100 with you. I don't care, because when they found out in Texas, there were people still enslaved in Georgia. They had not yet gotten the word. But you don't know that history because they don't fucking teach it. Shout out to the folks in Galveston. I love Juneteenth, but again, none of that shit matters. This country has focused on making sure that we never realize the freedom we are entitled to. So you got to read Supreme Court cases. You got to understand what precedent. You have to understand the cases, okay? George Dowd v. U.S. is how the fucking Middle Eastern folks, I'm not supposed to say Middle Eastern, but that's how they became white in this country. They weren't putting Middle Eastern on the goddamn sentence. They were white. And they had to be Christian in order to be white. 1915, go read it. Anyway. And Snyder v. Phelps, okay, I'm reading this is from Newsweek, 2011 case about the members of the Westboro Baptist Church. Y'all remember Westboro Baptist Church? Some of the most disgusting people on the planet. I swear to God, some of them, whenever we think about disgusting people, they're probably Christian or claim to be Christian, right? We know that, right? Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the majority opinion. On the facts before us, we cannot react to that pain by punishing the speakers. Remember when Westboro was protesting funerals? They was wild for that. I ain't got no bra on, y'all, so that's why my titties is hanging all the way down here. But listen, no, this is from 2011, Brian. But I don't know. Maybe Westboro is still around. Anybody know? Somebody fact check me. Give me a link. On the facts before us, we cannot react to that pain by punishing the speaker. As a nation, we have chosen a different course to protect even hurtful speech on public issues, to ensure that we do not stifle public debate. Public debate is Charlie Kirk's entire thing. He sat there, and I'm going to show you a clip in a second. He sat there, and that's all he did was debate people who were not as he believed weren't as smart as him. He was older than these people, but that's all he did. So if they're sitting here saying that we do not stifle public debate, that choice requires that we shield Westboro from tort liability for its picketing in this case. 1969, Brandenburg versus Ohio. I'm still with Newsweek. The High Court struck down an Ohio law that banned advocacy of terrorism and was used to change a Ku Klux Klan leader. The court said that in order for speech to qualify as inciting violence, it must be likely to result in actions. And they found that the Klan leader, Clarence Brandenburg, did not directly incite immediate violence. He was quoted using several racial and religious slurs. Now, here's the thing that Black folks have argued. It's like, you call me the N-word, I'm punching you in your face. Supreme Court said no. Somebody calling you the N-word does not incite violence. So they've decided that white people can talk to us however we want. So we just need to react anyway. It's not going to matter. Get your licks in, mink, 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 because they don't care. You understand what I'm saying? But now I want you to watch this damn Charlie Kirk video, because I feel like you got to be there with me. Cheese and crackers. Hold on. All right, here we go. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory on myself.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta change the I don't know why that is coming from the side there. Sorry, hold on 1 second, y'all. I don't know why that's coming from over there. I don't like that. Sorry, it's weird. Let me know if y'all can hear this, though. Let me know if you can hear
one
it.
of them, I was just walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me. MAGA apparel.
Can y'all hear that? No?
And then
They say this is MAGA country.
anyways, they drove past me, and they were like, "You bend over."
Okay, so they said the N-word on campus to you.
Well, yes.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Oh, really? Okay, so maybe it didn't happen.
Okay, anyways.
I don't believe you. I'm being honest, I don't believe you. I think
Okay.
you're making it up.
Okay. Anyways,
I refuse to believe that somebody on this campus would go around and sheepishly call you the N-word. I refuse to believe that. I think you're lying.
Anyways, next instance, they threatened to rape me and then just drove off.
Hold on. So a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
All in one night?
All in one night, sir.
I think you're making this up.
Okay, that's fine.
But what evidence do you have for this? Do you have like corroborating witnesses? Do you have what?
So, okay. So I'm showing you that because this is not a person who is debating. I've been on debate teams. You don't tell someone that they're making something up when you're having a debate. That's not how you do it. Your job is to actually prove them wrong or prove that what they're saying is incorrect or come back with a better response, something that shuts them down. You don't just sit there and say, I don't believe that happened to you. Yes, so I'm very curious because he's had this facial tick. It's very much like that, right? And so to me, like former certified alcohol and substance abuse counselor that I was, my first thought is substance abuse, right? Or, whatever. But I asked because I wanted to know if he had a disability. I wasn't trying to be an asshole. See, this is the thing. You got to stand firm in your values and morals, and you can't let someone as horrible as a Charlie Kirk knock you off of that. And so I was not trying to make fun of a disability if he had one. I was not trying to be ableist. I was just trying to know if anybody knew anything, because that is what it is. But anyway, he's definitely gaslighting him. Gaslighting that person. I don't know their gender identity, but gaslighting that person. And that's what they do, right? They want this entire administration does this every single day. They want to drive you out of your mind, and they want you to begin to question yourself. Like, you did not experience this thing, and you don't know the things that you saw with your own eyes or heard with your own ears or felt with your own hands. You smelled with your own nose, you tasted with your own mouth. They're telling you that thing didn't happen. And so it's really interesting. Yes, Ike says what CK was saying is, I refuse to believe that white GOP dudes could be as bad as you say they might. Ergo, you're a liar. It's not that. Charlie fully understands that those are the first ones to want to sexually assault someone like that. He knows this, but he is a troll. He's a troll, and he knows this because he also knows, like the rest of us, that when they have them Republican conventions, Grindr be popping off. He knows that too. You understand? And he also knows how gay Trump's administration is. It is very gay. It's probably gayer than Biden's. A lot of gay white dudes in his, administration, which is fine. You be who you are with your pride, right? So looking at how Charlie debates, right? This is how I know this is also becoming a cultish thing, and it is a troll. He's not even good at debating. But to a person or to the people who can't read beyond a third or fourth grade level, he's a great debater, right? Because they could never do anything like that. They could never be as articulated. And I said this before when I first started talking about Charlie Kirk, and I don't want to keep talking about him. But I said one thing that he does, he's very straightforward. He's very confident in what he says. He looks you directly in the eyes. Although, if you all notice, and again, I started this reading body language. Charlie Kirk, when he lies, he looks off to the side. I don't know if y'all ever noticed that. Go pay attention to Charlie Kirk. When he is about to say a lie, or when he does lie, that his tell is he looks off to the side. So he knows this and he does it, but they believe that this is what free speech is. They believe that you have the right to do this. And I agree. I agree that Charlie Kirk absolutely had the right to sit there and tell that person that they did not experience that. Was it the right thing to do? No. Is it a compassionate thing to do? No. Is it an emotionally intelligent thing to do? No, it's not. But Charlie Kirk doesn't care because he already got the check for being there. So therefore he can say whatever he wants. And he knows that people in the audience would want to see him take down someone like that because it makes their dicks hard. You understand what I'm saying? So there we go. Hey, Pat, everybody go follow my friend Patrick. Patrick is the only pastor in this world that I actually trust. The other day I posted, yesterday I posted a link to him talking on Facebook about this stuff. It's the only pastor that I trust. The fact that he keeps me around, I don't know why. Yes, you went to Syracuse. It could absolutely happen all in one night. I went to Penn. I went to CUNY. I went to Temple. All of this shit could happen in the same day. That's how people are. Like, I don't think people realize how violent the 18 to 25-year-old male set is. They're absolutely horrible. And get some liquor in them. Personal experience. And that's all I'm going to say. So anyway, so Ted Cruz, y'all, Ted Cruz is weighing in. Tucker Carlson is also weighing in. We're going to get to that. But Ted Cruz on Carr, he said about Carr, ABC, and Kimmel, it is unbelievably dangerous for the government to put itself in the position of saying, we're going to decide what speech we like and what we don't. And we're going to threaten to take you off the air if we don't like what you're saying. And it might feel good right now to threaten Jimmy Kimmel, but when it's used to silence every conservative in America, we will regret it. Now, again, I'm going to remind you, I don't like Ted Cruz. I do not like Rafael Cruz and his lying ass, but he's not stupid. Sometimes I just got to remind y'all, these people are they're not all stupid. Pam Bondi's stupid as hell. Laura Loomer is dumb as a box of bricks. Marjorie Taylor Greene, also not smart. Ted Cruz is a smart guy, right? And he says, and so again, I like Brendan Carr, but we should not be in this business. We should denounce it. Okay? That's Ted Cruz. That's Ted Cruz, Rafael Cruz, the one who wants to get rid of the Palestinians and the Jews so that the Christians can have Israel. That same guy. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Instagram, shout out to everybody on Instagram. Please join us on YouTube. If you're watching me on your phone on Instagram, you can really just go right onto the YouTube app, Feminista Jones. It'll pop up on live. Come join us. We have almost 100 in the chat. Come and join us over here. We're having a good old time. Chat is popping. Thank you all so much. And this is a great time to hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, come hit the like button, hit the subscribe, join. I'm very happy that you all continue to rock with me as I do this on Tuesdays and Fridays. Just a note, next Tuesday, I will not be live. I'm probably going to do Monday. No, because it's Friday. I might do Wednesday. I might do Monday. Depends on what happens this weekend. But Tuesday, I have to actually go to Washington, D.C. for an event. So I will not be able to do that. But Monday or Wednesday, I'll let y'all know, though. If you subscribe, I'll put up a note, let you know what I'm going to do. Follow me on social media. You figure it out. So that's really interesting. But this is what I want to do. I want us to watch Tucker Carlson real quick. Just real quick. I want y'all to rock with me. Hold on one second. I gotta skip.
Hi, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
No, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna pause that, and then I'm gonna share it. As long as you all can hear it, because I don't really know what was why the media changed on that, but as long as y'all can hear it. Hold on. All right. Let's listen to our guy here.
Hey, I'm Tucker Carlson. Last week, within just really minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot at that event in Utah, a kind of proxy war broke out over his memory. Who gets to own it? Who gets to use it? While the rest of us were still reeling in shock, trying to figure out what happened, a ton of people appeared online, not just in this country, to tell you exactly what happened, exactly what it meant, and exactly what we should do next. And you can see why. With this level of emotion, rage, and grief in the air, it's pretty wise to leverage that much energy. It's almost like nuclear power. It can be used for good or bad. And a lot of people wanted to use it. There's no question about that. So they begin telling you, Charlie died for this, he lived for this, and he died for that. So the crazier reaches of the left, it was Charlie was a Nazi. And the lesson is Nazis get killed. It makes sense. He was a bad guy who got what he deserved. And a lot of them said that out loud. Certain parts of the right immediately told you that actually this was about something completely different. You know, Charlie died for Israel. Many began to say the prime minister of Israel said that. And so did a lot of other people. Charlie was a defender of Israel, which he was, by the way. And therefore, he died for that cause. But none of these explanations, all self-serving, are really satisfactory. They don't capture who Charlie Kirk was. And on some basic level, they're dishonest. Charlie was not a Nazi. He was not killed because he was a Nazi. Yes, he was a defender of Israel. He didn't die for Israel, however. Why did he die? What was his life about? What was the sin, the core sin that Charlie Kirk committed against somebody, power, that got him killed in the end? And the answer is right in front of us, certainly those of us who knew him. Charlie's life was defined by his Christian faith, not his spirituality, but his belief in Jesus, his life as a Christian. And everything in his life flowed from.
Sorry, I just had to stop. But I just wanted you all to see that before they like try to ding me or whatever. Tucker Carlson said, "Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not." Because Tucker Carlson, but again, I said this before, Charlie, Tucker, Candace, they've been changing. They've been interesting to watch. You know, again, I think they're all trolls. So Tucker, actually, I think he believes that shit. But I just still believe that Charlie and Candace are trolls. But I think Tucker is committed to this. But the last thing they want, the last thing the conservatives want, is to be censored. And that's why what her name, Bondi, I get Gnome is with ICE and the people doing that, but Bondi is, well, she's Justice, right? Which one is the Justice? Bondi had to walk back her stuff because she was going hard body, like, we got to censor hate speech. We got to cut everybody else. We got to do blah, blah, blah. And he was like, wait, hold on. Also because she said it, right? And she's a blonde white woman. And I'm telling you, white men, they hate women. They definitely hate blonde white women, especially when they're not even natural blondes. They hate them. So anyway, she's like, she got to walk it back. They say, hold on, bitch. You talking too much. You talking too much. Get back in the house. You ain't even supposed to be outside. Why are you talking? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's what happened. Oh, and let's look at this real quick, because this is fun. Okay. Because why not? Let's look at
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a
Okay, hold on. I'm about to play this. These ads are something else. Do y'all get ads when y'all come on my show? Okay. All right. Let's look at this.
At you who were protesting when you were a Joe Stone crab should be in jail. Do you actually think that that is an offense that deserves jail time?
I don't know how they got in there, but certainly I thought it was very inappropriate. And they said things that were and it was a question of when you take a look at the way they acted, the way they behaved. Yeah, I think they were a threat.
You think that deserves jail?
You agree with it?
I think they're a nasty organization.
But you think they deserve jail?
Well, I don't know.
So Donald Trump said that he thinks people that were at a restaurant who were yelling nasty things at him should go to jail. He says that they're a threat. He's questioning how they got in the restaurant. I don't know. They were going to eat food like everybody else. They were saying things that you don't like, so therefore you should go to jail. Don't skip over this part, people. No president, no head of state has the right to say that if you say something I don't like, you should go to jail. And just today, I think it was today or yesterday, he was saying that the media should never criticize him. They should not make fun of him. You know who also said that? Ibrahim Traore. But the difference between the United States and Burkina Faso, to my knowledge, is that the Burkina Faso does not have a First Amendment that enforces the freedom of the press, right? Ibrahim Traore said that, you know, the media in Burkina Faso should be patriotic. You know what Trump also said? He literally used that word, patriotic. They should be more patriotic. So I'm just drawing the parallels. You know what I mean? Like, this is what a dictator looks like. This is what fascism looks like. When the government wants to control the media, state-sponsored media, That's not democracy. That's not freedom. That's not anything that this country is supposed to be about, right? And then to make it about religion in the ways that they do is really, really interesting to me. All right. Just a couple more things before we go. I got a chicken in the oven that I'm going to eat very blackly. It's like it's going to be obscene what I'm going to do to this chicken. It is my birthright as a Negroid. All right. Kash Patel had a hearing, and gosh, he is such a loser. He's such a loser. Hold on. I think I got this this photo. I think I took a screenshot of it because it was so ridiculous. Oh, yes. Let me send it to my computer so that I can show you all what it looks like. Here we go. Hold on. Let me open that. Okay. This is really just, oh my God. I hate everything about this entire administration. Kash Patel is one of the least qualified people. Am I able? Let's see. Window. Why didn't that open? No, I'm not sharing my entire screen with you. No, that's not it. Well, no, maybe I'm not sharing my screen. Anyway, I will show you what he had. He was taking notes on his little Director Patel pad that he gets from the FBI. It said, good fight with, I think it says Swalwell, hold the line, brush off their attacks, rise above next time of partisan something. Your man was writing eat, pray, love notes to himself while he was there. Who said Baghdad Bar? What are y'all talking about in the chat? I don't even know what's happening in the chat. You all are just on another level. See, I'm not messy. You all are. I'm just here delivering the news. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't find a trend. That was just me reading. I missed a few. There's a few words that I missed, but I got what I got. So Kash Patel was being asked questions about the budget. It was a budget hearing. And of course, all the budget hearings turn into, why can't you do your job? Why are you terrible at doing your job? All of that stuff. So he kept yelling at people. He kept getting very upset. He was definitely hyped up and looking foolish. But anyway, this leads me to the other story. Alligator Alcatraz. Do we remember Alligator Alcatraz, everybody? I feel like it has fallen out of our consciousness on some level. This big facility that they spent, $400 million to build. It was supposed to basically be a concentration camp, and we'll get to that in a bit, for people that they want to deport, so-called illegal aliens. Let's remind everybody that humans are not aliens, and I understand the context of it, but language does matter, nor is anybody illegal. These are undocumented people, and many of them actually were documented. There were actually some citizens there, but that's okay. So this was back in August when the judge ordered the closure of Alligator Alcatraz. And that's part of why it's been almost a month. That's part of why we haven't heard much about it, right? But they ordered the shutdown of the immigrant detention facility in Florida because of the environmental issues, not because it's a concentration camp, not because people were getting sick and disease was spreading, not because women were losing their pregnancies were, they're having miscarriages, not because of the fact that they had the food rations were insufficient and the hygiene and they weren't letting people shower and toilets. They didn't shut it down for any of that. They shut it down because it was doing significant damage to the ecosystem of the Everglades. Listen, however we got to do it. However we got to do it, as long as it's shut down, I'm with it, right? Cool. So Kathleen Williams, of course, a woman. Women, by the way, have been responsible for most of the shutting down of Donald Trump nonsense. I just want to point that out. Said that it was doing significant damage to the ecosystem of the Everglades. Fragile wetlands have been protected from big developments for decades after a proposed commercial airport was rejected in the 1960s. So essentially that whole area, you ain't supposed to be doing nothing like this. You got to protect the Everglades, right? However, El País, stop reading American media. It's all run by the state at this point. But you can read elpais.com, and if you put an English in front of it, you'll get the English translation, or you can change it to Spanish. It's fine. El País has an article, The Mysterious Disappearance of Hundreds of Immigrants Detained at Alligator Alcatraz. This is why this matters. They shut it down almost a month ago. What happened to all them people? So the same way we've been asking this question of what's been happening to the women that have been picked up off the streets, so-called by ICE, which I don't believe it's ICE all the time. I've told you all, these are rogue individuals who are dressing themselves up as bounty hunters, and they're just literally kidnapping people off the street. And white people are recording it and being like, oh my God, shame, shame. Where are you taking them? Instead of stopping these people from kidnapping people, or at least calling the police to say, hey, I see somebody being kidnapped. Here's the license plate. Can you come check this out? No, instead, white people are recording people being kidnapped, likely for human trafficking. Good job, white people. You guys are really on it. You're going to lead us to liberation because you know exactly what to do. Thanks a bunch. But anyway, lawyers and family members report that they have been unable to locate the inmates at Alligator Alcatraz after they disappeared from the ICE database, y'all. They shut it down and wiped the database. What happened to those people? No knowledge of where these people are. Now, there was concerns that people were being sent there because it was a concentration camp, because they were going to kill these people, right? That was one of the theories. Now we're like, oh, wait a minute. And so they're saying, so one way that they're trying to spin it is that they escaped. Like whatever, when they shut it down, the people just left, and we should be concerned because these are hardened criminals and they're just, you know, whatever around. That's how they're trying to spin it. They're trying to spin it like, oh, you made us shut down. Well, we had to let them go. And now your community is going to be filled with all these dangerous criminals, when we know that the overwhelming majority of the people there had no criminal backgrounds whatsoever. And that's okay. They describe, so the ACLU filed a lawsuit, described Alligator Alcatraz as a black hole, noting that some people were missing, effectively off the radar of the immigration system, not even listed on the rolls of Alligator Alcatraz, but just within ICE at all. Okay, and said that they have a persistent refusal to update the detainee locations, calling it a significant obstacle to effective attorney-client communication. Yeah, they was not letting people talk to their attorneys. That was never the plan. The plan was to isolate people from any kind of legal support or anything like that, because they was going to do whatever it is that they wanted to do to those people. I personally believe. Wait, hold on. Let's make sure I don't get sued. Hold on. You know how that goes. I personally believe, allegedly, that they were selling those people. We know that they were blatantly selling, like there was an exchange, a financial exchange happening when the United States was paying, who they pay, that dictator, what's the one in South America that was buying, that we were paying him to take, whatever. We also gave money to Rwanda to take people. We've given money to different countries to take these people. So there's been a financial transaction, and that's considered human trafficking. So we know that, right? I'm saying allegedly that I believe that they probably sold these people, or so, you know, worked out some kind of transfer of these people. There were the ones that we heard about. There were the people that we did hear about. They had the planes that we heard about. People were in planes. The judge was trying to stop the planes. People were being dropped off in other countries. And then the United States was like, well, we ain't got nothing to do with it. Yes, El Salvador. Yes. CCOT. Yes, El Salvador. And they're like, oh, we don't have nothing to do with it now. Am I freezing? Okay, sorry. But I think that that's what's been happening. I think that's what happened, is that the majority of these people were transferred to other countries. We can't say deport because these are not deportations. And I don't like that mainstream media continues to use the language of deportation. The deportation is a very specific thing. And so I just think that that's a problem. So they said after the August ruling, the state officials said the facility would be empty within a few days, and authorities indicated they were transferring detainees to other facilities, including some in Florida that were flagged by human rights organizations for poor conditions, and others outside of the states. Reports indicate that the number of people detained there has decreased significantly. However, it is unclear how many people have been shipped. They say deported. I'm not using that. Transferred to other immigrants. They don't know. They're saying that that people were being pressured to voluntarily agree to leave. DeSantis said that 100 had been deported from the site, which is bullshit. I am not convinced that they haven't killed these people or trafficked them. They lost $218 million. There's no accounting for that money. That's why I think there were some financial exchanges happening, because $218 million is just missing from Alligator Alcatraz. So what did they do with that money? So anyway, y'all, don't forget to check out my merch. I still have merch, feministajones.com/merch. You can get some cool stuff on there. Shout out to everybody who's been buying the merch and posting pictures of it. If you have pictures of it, definitely post, definitely tag me in them. I want to share them. I really appreciate the support. I love that you all are you like the stuff. You're wearing it. You're using the mugs. You're doing what you're doing. And some people are saying, it's really good quality. I like it. I use a drop shipper, but I think that they actually have pretty good quality. So I'm very happy about that. I'm probably going to make some more designs soon. I just had an idea for one. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I think it'll be pretty cool. So shout out to that. And then, Professor Cinephile, yes, for sure. So Professor Cinephile, if you go to my YouTube, Professor Cinephile, I actually just dropped a new interview with a filmmaker named Frank Abney III, who has a short film called Black Man, Black Man. I reviewed the film and I got to interview him. So we have that as well. That is there. I should probably email him with a link to it, right? Yeah, I know. It's been a long day. And so, I'm doing a lot, y'all. My Patreon, patreon.com/feministajones. Please, please, please support that. Patreon definitely helps me because I am, like I said, I am an adjunct professor. They don't pay us shit. I try to keep, I got to pay for my kid to be in college. I recently got a generous donation from a woman who saw me talking about student loans and tuition and stuff, and she sent me a generous donation that I was actually able to use to pay. Put some money down. Like Black people used to say, put something on it. I was able to put something on it, and it really meant a lot to me because my ex-husband is getting married for the 3rd time this weekend, and I don't actually give a shit about any of that. But the fact that he was supposed to help me pay the tuition and told me he couldn't because of the wedding, that really bothered me, right? And so, I don't really talk a lot about my personal business because fuck y'all, but I love y'all, but fuck y'all. But, that's the stuff that I deal with, but it really came at a time that it was absolutely necessary. And I appreciate that because it lets me know that people recognize that I'm out here trying to do some really great work. I'm always working on projects that I think are going to move us closer to freedom and closer to liberation. So much of what I do is unpaid, but I do it for freedom. I do it for the love. I do it because somebody's got to, right? Education is everything to me. Knowledge is power. I really believe that. So thank you when you support me like that. It really makes me feel like, wow, people are actually paying attention to what I'm saying, that what I'm doing is actually valuable. So, thank you. I just want to publicly thank that very generous woman for supporting me and my son, especially as I'm in the middle of dealing with this bullshit, right? Again, shout out to, everybody who shows up and everybody who shows love. when we do these. We all we got. I say this all the time. We all we got. We are all we got. And a lot of you are just now starting to learn what that means. A lot of us have been in there, right? We've been in the situations where we had to rely on our community for support. But some of you just now learning what we mean when we say we all we got. It's hard to trust people. It's hard to know who's on the right side. That's why I have to go through and I point out how this is all political theater, y'all. It is all political theater. These people are just, they're on a goddamn stage and they're tap dancing on our lives. And we need to be able to see that for what it is. We gotta do more than throw tomatoes at them. We need to get them off the stage. And if they're sitting in the seats, we need to Aaron Burr them. But anyway, oh, they're gonna get rid of me. You know, I'm not currently planning to take my life. I just want you all to know. I'm still waiting for updates on Trey Reed. I believe his last name is, the young man that they found hanging in the middle of campus. We talked about it on Tuesday. We talked about mental health. We talked about how there should probably be camera footage of what happened that night. I saw a press conference with their lawyer, and then with the woman, she's the lawyer. She also said the same thing. There's got to be footage. Give us the footage. Let us know what happened. So if anybody has anything, extra, anything that they know, please send me a link. I'm always happy to update, and share that information and get that out of there. But by now they should have camera footage of exactly what happened to that young man, right? So we'll see and we'll know, and we just keep their families in our thoughts and our positive intentions, and hope that they find, answers and that they get resolution of what happened to their loved one. I love you all very much. I'm going to go eat, and I'll update you whether or not I'm going to be streaming on Monday or Wednesday, but Tuesday, remember, I won't be here. Love you. Be good. Take care of each other.